What's up, guys? This is Justin with IGN. I am here with Terry Welsh, and
Hi.
you are developing Retrobooster.
Correct.
And so, you know, you're here for the Indie Press Day. You're showing off this game, and you know, we're excited that you sort of came into the IGN office to give us kind of a sneak peek of what it is you're cooking up.
I'm excited too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's jump in.
Okay.
So I can already tell I don't know anything about this game, and that's what's exciting to me as a member of the press. Is I don't know what you're showing off. I don't know, you know, sort of what makes this game rad, but.
Okay.
I already kind of like the music that we were hearing earlier.
Okay. So what I'm going for here is an old school cave flyer kind of game.
Oh, sure.
If you've ever played Lunar Lander or Oids or Gravatar, I'm going for something like that. The biggest thing I wanted to do different is make the ship really, really nimble.
Yeah.
So a lot of these games they kind of slow the action down a little. I think to make them more approachable.
There's some serious physics going on.
Yeah, and that makes them easier to learn. But I wanted the ship to be so nimble that you could do some new and different things.
And so you're controlling with, you know, WASD, but then also not the mouse.
Right. Just arrow keys for
Right.
movement, and I'm using F for fire. I can use the mouse
Oh, you
too.
can use
So
it.
right
So
now I'm using the mouse,
Yeah, you got a couple different options.
and you can see the ship spins a lot faster that way.
So you're more you're just more of a keyboard guy personally.
Yeah, and it kind of looks better in video, I think.
Sure, fair enough. And so, you know, walk me through. You know, is this sort of is it level based? Are you know, kind of trying to be specific? Oh, that's a good fire.
It is level based. Yeah, it's linear that way. The reason I wanted to do the flying challenges or the nimble ship so I can have these flying challenges. So like on this level, I hit this button, and it brings this block up, and then I got to race around here and try to get through the hole before the block shuts.
Gotcha.
And that's just a simple example of the sort of thing you can do. But if your ship moves too slow, you know, you can't really have that sort of thing. Then it's just a shooting game. But this way, and I didn't make it,
Ooh.
but I can blow that guy away at least.
So you almost, I mean, this sort of makes me think of like if video games had developed on some other path than they ended up developing, and like Lunar Lander became a genre that was like something
Yeah.
for 20 years.
This genre it's never really been overdone. I always liked it, but you only get a game every few years, it seems like.
Gotcha.
So, and then I've got these force fields, and I've got gears, and
So, you know, people progress level to level, and is there a specific, you know, are the objectives always kind of the same? Are you trying to destroy all the enemies, or just sort of reach the exit? Or, you know, what can you walk me through a little bit of the progression of the game?
Well, I call it a survival shooter. So, really, you're trying to get through every level and get to the end. And
it's like a gauntlet then.
right, and then if you've mastered that, I've got the scoring system, so you can play for high scores. And I'll show you. I'll show you another example. So like this is a different kind of level.
Okay.
And this one, you see it's kind of rotating underneath me.
Sure.
So the planet's around here, and it's just another thing that makes the flying really interesting.
Yeah.
So it weirds people out a little at first sometimes, and then they're like, hey, this is kind of cool. And you can construct totally different kinds of levels this way. So.
Well, I also think people, you know, video games are so broad right now that, you know, a round stage like this makes me think of like a 2D, I don't know, like almost like a Mario Galaxy. Like people are maybe a little bit more used to this sort of thing than they used to be. That's cool. That's awesome. And so I saw, you know, you were sort of back in that menu select, sort of hopping, you know, just skipping around through levels. I mean, is the final game, are you targeting sort of a specific size or?
Right now I've got about 30 levels. I'll probably have a little more than 30 when I'm done.
Cool.
And yeah, I was skipping around. When you start the game, you'll just have one level unlocked,
right.
and you've got to unlock each level as you go.
You
but
made
then
the game, and so we decided to escalate things right from the start.
Right. I could show you the first level, but everyone can see that by downloading the demo, so there's not much point, you know. So I'm showing you something a little later.
Now that, you know, if this is catching their eye, they can download and check it out for themselves.
Right. They can just go to the website and download the demo. It's you can go to retrobooster.com.
Cool.
And that'll just take you to a page on reallyslick.com, which is the main website.
Fair enough. You're doing a great job of one thing that I learned when I started at IGN. It is much more challenging than people think to talk and play a game at the same time. So I just want to compliment you on your ability to play this, you know, tough-looking game.
Yeah, I've played it way too much, so yeah, I can kind of do this now.
Are you working on this yourself? Or are you
yeah, just me.
Oh, that's awesome.
A friend of mine did the music.
Sure. And so, you know, what else do people need to know about Retrobooster? I mean, this is sort of a game. These sort of old-school arcade-style games almost kind of speak for themselves in some ways. But
yeah, so it's really like an old-school cave flyer. I'm trying to give it really good physics. I've got puzzles in there. And I've got, you know, the ship's really nimble, so sometimes in the battles you get really, really serious bullet hell stuff going on.
Sure.
And you just got to be able to dodge all the enemy fire. So if you like an action game like that that's really skill-based, and you want to have to think your way through a little bit because of the puzzles, then that's the kind of game you might like.
That's awesome. So this is, you know, we're playing on Windows right now. I mean, when are people going to be able to get their hands on this? What platform is it going to be available on?
I'm trying hard to get it out this year, 2013.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We'll see how that goes. I'm learning so many new things as I go because I've never made a game before.
Oh, this is your first game.
Yeah, so it's hard
wow.
to say if I'm going to make it on time or not, but we'll see.
That's kind of awesome. I had no idea that. I guess maybe I should have asked you at the top what your sort of experience was.
Well, I've been doing computer graphics for a long time. I just never did a game.
Gotcha.
So.
Now you're sort of taking that next step.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2013 Windows then?
Windows and Linux right now.
Windows and Linux.
And you know, it's made out of cross-platform stuff. If I can, it'd be cool to port it to OS 10.
Gotcha.
If it takes off, we'll see how that goes.
Sure. Awesome, Terry. Thank you for sort of showing us a look at Retrobooster. I'm excited about this and all the games that are at the Indie Press Day this evening. And so thank you for coming in and sort of showing us a little bit of an early sneak peek at your game.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Everybody at home, remember, we're always kind of trying to surface the coolest, hottest, some of the indie games that might not be on your radar, but probably should be. So remember that for this and all sort of the indie game hotness, you can keep it locked to IGN.